We can't hear you, sir.
And welcome to another episode of More Contentious Conversations with the Average Black Man. And I'm just going to go right out and call cap on all these the internet talking about marriage is worthless, talking about and there's no benefit for men to get married. But at the same time, y'all talking about marrying others and going to other countries married. So which one is it? Is it worthless or what? What's going on? Or is it not? Calling cap.
We calling cat from the jump, you know. We got some statistics. We got some opinions on top of this. This is going to be a good one. Now, we do want people to join, but we got so much material. This might be you might not be able to get in after we finish with this one. After we get into the nitty-gritty of this topic. Man, I'm trying to tell y'all ain't ready.
Right.
Let me cue up some notes. Let me cue up some news notes.
Oh, okay.
All right. Just queuing up the notes. I'm gonna turn it over because it's gonna reflect in my my glasses. So
oh, it's all right. It's all good. I got the screen in my glasses. You all right? Nobody tripping off of that.
okay.
But I'm calling cap on all these dudes that want to say marriage is worthless. But when you look at the numbers don't reflect that. The numbers reflect that married couples have more overall income than single people. So what's wrong with that? Is that bad? Is that bad, Keisha? If you make 50,000 and I make 50,000, it's bad for us to come together and have 100,000. That's bad.
No. I thought that's how we were supposed to be. I thought that was
I'm
the
like,
plan. The plan
I'm like,
was for us to come
I don't
together
understand.
and let your 50,000 and my 40,000 give us 90,000. You know,
Right. So however it worked, right? However the
I
numbers
thought
line up.
I thought, yeah. If you ask me, that's how it's supposed to
I'm
go.
like, I'm calling cap on all these dudes talking about marriage is worthless and all of that. Y'all are contributing to the stagnation of our people as a community. Like one of the quickest ways to gain wealth is to purchase a home. And it's a lot easier to purchase a home together with somebody than it is on your own. And yes, I know y'all gonna come out there and be like, you can get a business partner. Shut up. Your wife is supposed to have your legacy at heart. If you stick around and take care of your kids. And for everybody out here that's gonna talk about blaming women first, well, you didn't vet her. Don't act like it's all on her and she crazy.
Well, just like they tell us women that we pick wrong and we didn't have good discernment when we were picking men, that works out for the other side as well. You know, when you do multiplication, sometimes you do it on both sides. Now, I'm just saying, people, it works both ways. It's a double-edged sword, I must say. We women have to pick out the best mate in men, and you guys gotta pick out the best mate in women, you know. Compatibility is going to play a big part in this situation. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And
So
these conversations need to be had before you even get married. You got to divulge these expectations and everything.
So Tim,
Where you get
one of the most common things that is said in these social media streets about marriage when it comes to the Black woman's demographic.
Lie, 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 and lie.
Like shots, lie, 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 lie. Say no.
That's all that happens. They lie and they lie some
What's
more and
up,
they lie a little
Jesse?
more. Hey, hey, hey.
Are you playing
That's
music
it.
in the background?
Yeah. Is it too loud? I can turn it down.
Just a sad. No, turn it. All right, keep it there, and then
Yeah.
turn yourself up a little bit.
Oh, okay. So it's louder than me.
Yeah, because I know you turned
Okay.
yourself down.
Yeah.
Because it's not
That's
louder
better.
than me. It's not louder than me,
Right.
and then because when I talk,
I sound better now. I'm good now, right? I'm
yeah,
Gucci.
you right. You Gucci.
All right. Hey, Jess, in the comments. Yeah, so that's just where I'm at with it. I'm calling cap on all these podcasters talking about this, all these numbers support that, it's no benefit in getting married, blah, 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 blah. But the numbers don't reflect that. The numbers show that married people have an overall higher income that's 2 times to 4 times higher than a single person.
Mm-hmm.
It don't even matter who make more. If the woman make more and you make more, when you come together, it's still a collective, whatever that number is.
Right. True.
And if you're gonna go into it having a negative perspective, like, oh, well, she can get divorced, and if she can get divorced and all of that, then that still falls on you. You didn't pick the right one.
You didn't vet her properly. You didn't vet her properly. And also, the conversation before the commitment in the relationship, before you guys made it official, wasn't had properly, because now y'all having this conversation. Now y'all having not this conversation, but y'all having a discrepancy in your relationship, which that's going to happen regardless. But when you're having things like these type of conversations where you and her are talking about what y'all expectations in marriage and y'all already committed, y'all should have that in the beginning, like on dates, on the phone when y'all was sitting there talking to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. That should have been a part of the conversation.
Right. All this cap about going 50-50 is bad that the women is saying. That's cap.
Oh, the roommates.
How is that bad? How is 50-50 bad? If I got $100 and you got $100, now we got $200. Like, what are you talking about? So we gonna just not get something that we want because you don't want to go half on it?
I just don't understand how they stop being adults because you're in a relationship. So you just stop being an adult? You stop taking care of home? You stop taking care of yourself and paying your bills? Now, I do understand this when it's just not adding up. Your income and his income is not adding up. His expenses and your expenses is not adding up. Your expenses is based on your income. Meaning, ladies, your income might only be like, say, your income is ballpark 35,000, 40,000 a year. Okay. But his is 60,000, 80,000. So that means he got 60,000, 80,000 type fucking expenses. And you ain't not gonna afford 50% of that. Because
since all these
of that might be
dudes,
your top cap of above your expenses, is above your living. So that's when that becomes okay. Maybe he should pay all the bills, and that comes with another thing that we're going to dive deep into. That let's look into what's on the screen right here, though.
Those are the numbers right there. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't.
That
all of this 50-50 is bad. You ain't a real man and blah blah, all that madness. Household economic well-being is often measured by household income and poverty. After adjusting for household size, marriages in which both spouses work tend to have a much higher income than marriages with a sole provider. Oh, let's say it again. Let's say that for all the men that be like, everybody that says it's a man's job to provide or protect. Households where both spouses work have a much higher income than when the marriage has a sole provider. Marriages with either a wife or a husband as the primary provider, and those that are, I ain't gonna mess that word up because what is that? I ain't gonna say it. I'm stupid today.
Mhm.
Had a median income of roughly 135 grand to 145 in 2022. I'm not even pulling up 1960s like y'all Negroes be out here doing on these podcasts, going back to the 1960s. This is how it used to be like that. Look, people that's married right now,
Right now,
got household
right now.
incomes of 135K to 145K. Marriages with a sole provider lagged far behind.
Far behind. Look at that highlighted part. Marriage with sole earners lagged far behind at 75,000. So they was
far
stuck.
behind. So you talking about I'm a man and it's the man's job to do all this. Y'all love to say I don't want no struggle love. You know how they quick to say struggle love?
In middle class poverty. That's what it was. They was stuck in middle class poverty.
I'm calling cap on everybody that says they don't want no struggle love. If you want a man that's going to take care of all of the bills and all of that, according to the numbers, the statistics say that they lag behind around 75K. But if both of y'all work, it's 135K, 145K. Make it make sense. The number, men lie, women lie, the numbers don't. Where is not the benefit? Where is this? There's no benefit to getting married. Show me. And all anybody is gonna say is divorce. The men are gonna say divorce, and the women ain't gonna have nothing to say at all other than I don't know what they're gonna say because there's no excuse. They have nothing. What will be a woman's argument? Please, people in the people watching, please come up and give me a reason as to why it's not beneficial for women to get married. Because the men have their stuff, they have their argument ironclad. The whole divorce, alimony, and child support. Those all work in the woman's favor. So I don't see a negative for women to get married.
There is no negatives for women to get married, not financially. Maybe on a emotional standpoint, when it comes down to women kind of pouring into men a little bit more emotionally, and in certain instance, a lot of instances men are pouring into women. Well, I don't want to say they're pouring into women more emotionally. I would say they're tolerating more emotionally, but y'all conditioned to do that anyway. I would say this. At this point in time, it is very, very beneficial for women to get married, financial wise, because we make less than men. Now, when it comes down to the black woman, it really makes sense for the black man and the black woman to decide that we're going to put our incomes together instead of trying to live this white picket fence dream, which is the same fairy tale that they tell us women we can't be in. It's the same fairy tale. It's that Cinderella, that Princess and the Frog, that Snow White, that Sleeping Beauty. But this is like a flip side.
You can't use Princess and the Frog. And the reason why anybody that paid attention to Princess and the Frog the way I did, that prince was broke. Yeah, everybody be like, no, they wasn't broke. You saw the wedding. Yeah, his mama and his daddy paid for the wedding. But if you pay close attention to that, if you pay close attention to that very next scene, the next scene is her at the bank with him standing behind her and all them coffee cans she had full of pennies and dollars and stuff. So she still paid for her own stuff and she still married it.
Let's exempt that then. Okay, so this ideal of a man paying 100% of the bills and y'all living as if you were in a 2-house income is as delusional as the Cinderella, the Snow White, the Sleeping Beauty.
Wait, say it again. What's delusional? What part? Say it again.
I didn't want to make the same amount of money as a 2 income on an average basis.
Oh, okay.
On your own, in a 1 income.
Right.
It's only 20 to 10% of people that does that. So
Right.
that's a delusion in its own. And then there's another delusion that goes on. If women stop buying weave, stop getting their hair done, if they lower their maintenance in themselves, then maybe this would be more cost efficient. If you lower your spending, then maybe this would be more cost efficient to make that amount of money for us to live this lifestyle. Bruh, you're doing the same shit she doing. It's just different. It's different because you're a man. You're a man. You're not. It's just a man's way of being delusional. Now, let's go up across
Absolutely.
this ideal of women that make more than $35,000 a year,
And
having an
that's the
attitude of
that's the median. Wait. That $36,000, that's the median income for black women. Black women are not outperforming black men the way that these podcasters is capping, these women podcasters is capping, talking about black women are outperforming the men. It's cap.
scab.
The median income for black women is $36,303. The median income for black men is 43,000. So even though you can say that's nickels and pennies, that's still more. And if you put 40 and 30 together, you got $70,000 income. What's going on? Like, what is the problem? Like, I
They
don't.
instantly put us in middle class. Instantly, you're instantly in middle class now. You'll be a part of the lower
Right.
middle class, but
But
you're
you're still up
instantly
there.
middle class now.
You can move your ass out the projects.
Absolutely.
Like that's why I hate that struggle love whole mentality. Like a woman that work at Walmart be like, I'm struggling at Walmart. Why would I get with a dude that work at Walmart too so we can struggle together? No, you make 25, he make 25. Guess what? That's called 50 grand. Where is
That
the
part.
struggle? Where is the struggle? You're only struggling because you want to struggle. You want to puff your chest out and feel like, I don't know.
My thing
I don't
has
know.
always been, if you work at Walmart and he work at Walmart, are y'all planning to stay there?
Right. Nobody's planning on moving. Even if you stay there, nobody planning on moving up, being a
Nobody's planning on
manager,
moving up. So
supervisor.
that's always been my mentality. I don't want to work. I don't want to date someone at my job to just want to be my old job, because I have a new job now. But
Okay.
at my old job, uh if he just wanted to be a cashier, he's not thinking about his next move. I'm not dating dude, right? Like, well, I'm trying to
Right.
move on and move up in the situation. It's going to be perceived as I'm entitled. I think I'm better than him. I'm not submitting to him because I'm not trying to live this mediocre ass life that he wants to live. I'm not jumping on his mediocre ass program, and that goes for women too.
Right.
Fellas, stop dating mediocre fucking women and stop thinking it's so different.
Well, hold on.
That same
I gotta,
mediocrity
I
applies to
gotta make a
women.
distinction. I gotta make a distinction here. If you are a mediocre person, don't believe that you too good to date another mediocre person. Everybody think they a 10, everybody think they the bomb, every man thinks he's the shit. No, humble yourself and look at your surroundings and what you got going on. And if you looking around and you feel like you comfortable where you are, then stay where you are. Don't include nobody else with it. But if you want to be more, then strive for more and get somebody that wants to get more with you. Because
Yeah.
two pockets got more money than one pocket. I don't know why this is such a hard thing to conceptualize. Like, what's the problem? Like, other than individualism and selfishness, this is my money. This is my money. He ain't gonna spend my money. She ain't gonna spend my money. She a gold digger. This is why we stay at the bottom of the economics pole in the United States as black people.
Individual.
We don't have no individualism. Individualism. We don't have no sense of group economics.
Can we cue the definition of that? Can you put that on the big screen, please, sir?
All right, group econ. You see, we have that one? Do we have that one in the notes?
No.
All right,
I
I
can
see it.
guarantee you we don't. You
It's in the,
see it
it's in the
is?
notes. It's in the notes.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
on my. I was on. I put
All right,
for
because
me.
I'm like, cue it. What's
Group economics refers to a collective of people who pool their finances to reach a common goal that couldn't have been accomplished otherwise. Now, applying this to buying a home and stuff like that, it's absolutely you can buy a home with one income. This is true. But are you going to buy that big house that you actually want? You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Refers to a collective or a pool of people. A pool can be two or more. So
that's
you see what I'm saying?
so you pulled up group economics. We need to know. We need a definition of individualism. We need that
Let me see.
definition.
I don't got
Because
that
I
one. I
said,
thought,
like, I know that was not in the notes. You
yeah,
definitely
that
had
one.
group economics
Yeah,
in there.
yeah. Give me a second, people.
It's okay.
So this is gonna look tacky because it's on the fly.
It's not prepped, but it's okay. It's okay.
All right.
This is what we do. This is more contentious media, people.
A habit or principle of being independent and self-reliant. A culture that celebrates individualism and wealth. A social theory favoring freedom of action for individuals over the collective or state control.
Can you make that window bigger? Like the zoom in that window? Go to like 175. This is why I hate the Mac format is a little different.
Did it get bigger?
Yeah, but is that 175? Go bigger. All right, now zoom there. That's perfect. Go there. There you go. Now everybody can read it.
Right.
Remember that that number that you zoomed in onto, because that's perfect when you putting up definitions and certain pictures and shit. So I just adapted to memory. Individualism, a habit or principle of being independent and self-reliant and
We're
self-reliant.
self-reliant. Yeah.
You have a habit or principle of being independent and self-reliant. So self-centered, the feeling or conduct of egoism. You hear that? Self-centered, the feeling of conduct of egoism. The
Where are you
second one,
reading?
I'm reading under here where it says
Oh, that's it.
independent
Self-centered. Yeah. Self-centered. Exactly. Egoism. Me.
egoism.
And that's another. I'm gonna throw that one out for another one of those buzzwords. That's the narcissism. That's the narcissism.
That's
Me.
toxic.
What can you do for me? What do I get out of this? That toxicity.
With the head swivel. Don't forget the head swivel. Like
yeah. Right. The toxicity. I already put the link out there to join on the on my YouTube. Anybody that's watching on YouTube, I got the link there. Anybody watching on Facebook, comment right now so I can find you and I can put the link up for you so you can come up and we can have this discussion.
I'm gonna try to find this link as well because you sent me the link. So
yeah, we got a bunch of people watching right now. So I'm calling Cap. That's what I should have named this episode. Cap.
Listen, it's shut up, get married. Because either you're going to get married or you're going to keep bitching about the trials and tribulations of what you think marriage is about, what you keep watching on YouTube when it comes down to these other social media content creators. Their job is to sell their narrative.
Right. And unlike them other content creators, I am one of the few that's actually married. I got a woman. If you want to know how to have a wife,
I got a woman.
Yeah. If you're interested in how to pick a good woman and all that, come holler at me. Stop talking to the dudes that ain't got no woman saying, what you need to do is, if you want to get a woman, you can do this. Like, you ain't even, how you telling me and you ain't got a woman? Make it make sense.
Yeah. Everyone, I'm about to drop the invite in on my Facebook and on my YouTube. So
I'm dropping it on Facebook and YouTube right now. Well, I got it on YouTube. It's already pinned to the live comments. I'm dropping it in Facebook right now. Anybody want to come up
Facebook
and
first because I don't know who. See, I'm not hosting, so I can't see anything. So I just gotta go off of what my wonderful, handsome co-host is saying, and go from there. Even though that I'm broadcasting from these different situations, from Facebook to YouTube, I'm not
right?
hosting, so I can't see the
You
viewers.
said you're gonna put it on your YouTube. You already put it on your YouTube.
I'm about to put it. I'm putting it on my YouTube as we speak.
Okay.
I just put it
So
on the
anybody
Facebook
come up
first.
here and want to come up here and talk about this, and I'm calling cap on all the BS. Calling cap on all the ain't no benefit to marriage, when the biggest benefit to marriage, just by looking at these numbers in a fundamental way, is the exit out of poverty. To not be at the bottom of the totem pole as a whole race of people in a society. Is that not beneficial?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why this? It's not letting me. By the way, let me try this again, because it was saying that the URL is too long. I'm like, how the hell?
You can copy it from somewhere else. Want me to send it to you again?
Yeah.
All right. Boom.
I'm having glitches in the system. I swear to God. It's just mad glitches. It's mad glitches in the system, man. It's just mad glitches.
There you go. So yeah, anybody that's watching want to come up.
So can we talk? Welcome. I'm sorry.
We can talk some. No, we can still, while we waiting on them, we can still chop it up. We can go through these notes. My back is hurting and I'm trying to psych myself out. So
my back is hurting. I've been paid, but we gonna get through this, man. We gonna get through this. All right. So can we talk about how some of the guys in the manosphere and in the wonderful Facebook chat rooms that were, chat groups that we're on, have a notion that Black women are the least married? Yeah, this link is
because
coming
they
up.
Are. Because they are. You know who else is the least married man? The Black man. Ooh.
The Black man.
I'm standing next to you at the bottom of the list, but you ain't nothing. Because you at the bottom of the list right here with me. You
because you at the bottom of the list right here with me.
Right. We holding hands at the bottom of the list, but something wrong with you though, not me. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Is that in the notes? I think that was in the notes somewhere.
Maybe if I copy it like this, it'll work out. Let's see. You have a nice little stat when it comes down to Black women and Black men marriages. Now, when it comes down to, since I can't see anything, it don't matter for me to actually to be in full screen or not to be in full screen. When we're in this in these manosphere groups, right? It comes across as if they're trying to manipulate the stats. They're trying to manipulate the numbers, like how Black men are more married than Black women, even though we marry each other at a 90% rate. So if
at a certain age,
women,
that's at a certain age. That's how they manipulate and skew the stats. They'll say only 1 in 4 Black women ever get married. But when you look at the stats, that stat is only for women between the ages of 18 and 25. Duh.
Okay.
Between the ages of 18 and 25, who's getting married? Nobody. except for 1 and 4. Knock it off. But when you look at the stats, of the age that people have their very first marriage in the United States, that age is like 30.
Right.
And I'm not talking about 1960 nothing. I'm talking about between 20 and 23.
They do the same thing with the single father rate, but that's another conversation for another day.
The single father rate, they manipulate that because they say, look, 90%, there's a 90% success rate. But when you compare the overall numbers, there are fewer single fathers than single men. So while the numbers sound sensational, 95 over women's, what, 23%? It's real low for women, 23%. It's like, okay,
right.
The overall number is smaller. What would you rather have? 95% of $100 or 10% of $1 million? You want 10% of the $1 million. You see what I'm saying? That's $100,000 versus $95, which is 95% of $100. So while the percentile seems like it's better overall, when you look at the whole function and the numbers, it's not. What happened? You fell off. I'm looking for something right now, people. Trying to get these stats going on.
Okay, I'm back. I'm like, is it me or did it just get dark out of nowhere? I think because the sun went down. It's like, it's got dark. I don't like it. I need you to pull up the stats for the marriage though when you get a chance, sir.
Which marriages?
For the by the way. The one under the group economics. But first of all, pull up the group economics first, and we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to go into the one when it says, what is the divorce rate by ethnicity? Ooh,
ethnicity. I'm looking at the notes and I don't know where you are. So the links.
It's right under group economics. The practice of group economics becoming more popular, and especially since it is becoming more recognized way to build wealth with your family or friends. By definition, group economics is when a collective group pools their money together to benefit the common interest. A great example of group economics was Black Wall Street, a district in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay. So you talking about these divorce? You talking about pull up the divorce rates?
Yeah.
All right.
We just talked about, but I just read the little. Get this out my eyesight. I just read the little nice. I would say it's all description of what group economics is. We're going to talk about divorce right now.
So I'm calling Cap. I'm starting everything with that sentence. I'm calling Cap on everybody that talks about, Black women is the least desirable, the least married, the most divorced, and all. Look, if you look at the stats, this stats is not per gender; it's for both male and female. Guess who got a 30.8% divorce rate? The Black people. So
the Black people.
all you podcasters, I don't care. Y'all can call me a simp or whatever. I'm coming out with facts. And the facts say 30.8% of Black people get divorced. That's not
accurate.
Absolutely accurate.
It's not, because 38.8 Black people get divorced. Now we're not even going to go into like extreme detail when it comes down to interracial marriages and things like that, because again, we do marry each other at an extreme rate. I think between let's just, because I don't know the exact number, let's just say at an 80% rate, we marry, mingle, and mate with each other, just like most other races do, right? However, out of all these races and cultures, let's just say that Asian, white, Hispanic, we are the ones that are fucking up the most as a collective. And you cannot, we can. I'm not going to say you cannot. We can separate the women from the men. If you want to split hairs that way, sure, you could do that. But that's not how we're counted. As you see from the chart, we're not counted as what black men do and what black women do. We're counted as a whole. And when you're counted as a
Right.
whole,
We're looking at
it's
the
a
whole number as
whole.
a whole. We're looking at it as a
Mhm.
whole. So we're looking at these of this is the percent of black people that go and get a divorce. Now, if you want to make a point, you can go in here and say, well, let's pull the specifics. How many of these divorces were filed by women? Blah, 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 blah. It don't matter. If she filed it or if you filed it, you are still divorced. You still fall into the stat of being the most divorced. It don't matter who files
Absolutely.
it. You still fall into the stat, like it or not.
Absolutely. That's how that's going to work. It's not going to work no other way. We are counted as a whole. In our group economics, it's not in its highest rate as it was. It was Tulsa, Oklahoma was like in 1940s, right?
1920s.
1920s. Oh shit.
1920.
Shit. I was 20 years faster than what I should have been. It was the 1920s when this was happening. I'm gonna come back on camera in a second. Give me a second. So we had group economics then. Right now in 2023, individualism is so strong. Our group economics is suffering. It just is. We're too busy trying to be independent of each other. Now, in some resources, it could be that way where you could lower your cost of expenses and it could equate to you being a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad, because I ain't sexist. So either way, it may equate if you lower some of your expenses. However, it still doesn't change these numbers and these facts and these numbers. Timothy, are you frozen? I think Timothy is
I
frozen.
think he is.
I'm like, his face been that way a little too long.
If he's not frozen, we got some problems.
Because I'm in
He'll be back.
I'm so happy that I'm sharing this StreamYard because it would have kicked everybody off if I just was a joiner like you. But I carried the show from my friend. He might be having technical difficulties. That's okay. That's okay. In these situations, we practice back to what I would say. We practice too much individualism. So in certain situations, it is going to work out where one of the parties could stay home and one of the parties could work. That's with lowering your expenses as an individual because y'all coming together. And I also talked about how one expenses may be a lot more than the other. Like the guy might come in with a lot more expenses because he makes more money, more problems. That's just how it always works. More money, more expenses. So when you're going 50-50 in that situation and that person that you're dealing with doesn't make the same or similar amount of money that you're making, that 50-50 going to come 80-20 real fast because they have to live in their means coming together. But again, I always ask guys, and when I ask guys, when they have this conversation, and women, when you're having these conversations and you are willing to go 50-50, are you willing to understand that you may have to date someone that is on your level financially? They're not above you. For women, he's not above you. For men, she's on your level. And is it still met with the same humility and the same respect? because we women like judging dudes off their bread. So there's that. Oh, he's back. Thank you. You came back right at the in the middle at the end of my
Yeah,
statement. Like it was
I had
just
a
perfect.
technical difficulty. I had an internet
Listen,
issue happen.
I figured, but it kept us on. It didn't kick us off. So I'm happy about that. I was like,
Right.
damn. Any other time in any other program, the host
Would have been it would have been a wrap, right?
it would have been a wrap. The host got kicked off. The live, the whole live is over. So that's what's up.
Right. Shout out to StreamYard for that. Or what I missed though.
I was ironing out the details of going from being an individual to a relationship and the dynamics of expenses, meaning more money makes more problems, and you will have a higher expense than a person that makes less money than you. So I put this on Facebook and I asked men that wanted to go 50-50 was they're still willing to date down. Now, I did not put in detail whether it was financially, spiritually, however the hell. But I figured once I said 50-50, they would have thought money, right? Of course. People love deflecting. So that's not what they thought because I did not put that in there. I ain't think you have to. Because if I said I ain't going 50-50 with a dude, he would have knew straight up it was about money, right? Okay. There we go. So I asked the guys if they wanted to go 50-50, were you still trying to date down? Because I think that might be an oxymoron. How you want to go 50-50, but you want to date a woman that make less than you? She'll never be able to go 50-50 because she can't afford to. So is there a level of, okay, I'm gonna date a woman that make 50,000 too? I make 100K. I'm gonna date a woman that make 100K. But the stigma of that is the attitude of a woman that makes a little bit more money.
I'm calling cap. Reason I'm calling cap is them same dudes that talk about that will be real quick to say men don't care about how much she makes. Men don't care if she has a degree. So which one is it? Which one is it?
Well,
Don't care.
if I may, as a stay-at-home mother who has a husband who is the sole provider, I made, and Tim, you saw my post earlier about the whole 50-50 conversation. It's tiring, it's exhausting, and it's stupid. People need to do what's going to work for them, and that's it. But what a lot of women do not seem to grasp is if they want a 100% provider, there is a lot involved in that. A lot of times I see women who they just see like rent and utilities. They don't see anything further than rent and utilities. We're talking about the car insurance, the car maintenance. I mean, I went through a whole list of things of what a true provider actually provides. And if you don't want that type of life, that should be okay. If you want to work and pay 50-50 with one another, you should do that. If you want a husband that provides, then you also have to take into account everything that he provides. So at the same time, if you want this luxurious lifestyle where you're getting your hair and your nails done every 2 weeks or whatever, you want purses and boots and stuff, 9 times out of 10, you're with an average earner. Everybody's not going to get that high earner. So there are going to be some sacrifices that you have to make if, in fact, you want that man to comfortably pay all of the bills and you stay at home and whatever, whether it be raise the kids. Hell, if y'all don't have kids, you just want to be a stay-at-home wife, which I never understood that one. But anyways, but either way, you have to understand that you have to live within that man's wages if that's what you want to do. Now, if that's not working for you and you want to go out and get a job, I don't care if it's a part-time job, if it's just for your nails and your lashes and your hair, because 9 times out of 10, he's not going to be able to do that on a consistent basis. But I'll say this and I'll be quiet. A lot of times I blame men for that as well because you kind of knew what you was getting yourself into. You knew she got her hair done every month. You knew she
That
got her
part.
lashes done. You knew she got
That
her
part.
nails done. You knew she liked Gucci bags and all this other stuff. And
Right.
Yeah.
you decided to take that on. So now all of a sudden it's like, oh well, I don't have enough money, but you knew what you were getting yourself into.
Right. Absolutely. And that goes back to that. But I was saying earlier, it's the whole vetting thing. These I'm calling cap. These dudes out here quick to say women don't want to take accountability, but guess what? Look like y'all don't want to take accountability either as men. You are
Right. No
equally
one
as
wants to take
responsible
accountability.
for the person you pick as she is of picking you. If a woman, if you're gonna judge a woman because she got a baby with Pookie and Ray Ray, what that say about you if you got a baby with Bonquisha? Same standard applies. Same standard applies. You're not better. You did the same thing.
Absolutely. Um and we got to stop with the narrative of all the black women, and I mean all, because this is they don't make it like a percentage or majority or most or some. It's always all black women that are single mothers have children by the same men, and I'm like, that math isn't mathing. Do you know how each how many kids
That
each
math is
single
actually
father
correct.
will have?
That math is actually correct. 40, 42% of black men don't have children, but over 53% of women have children. So black women are having more children than the men are having. So by default, these women have to be sharing baby daddies, which is true.
Black
You got to
men
remember,
of a
there's a lot of
certain
black
age,
people
but
who
this
not even,
stat of the 43 something percent of men that having children is based upon age. It's not an
yeah.
overall stat.
No,
Overall
it's
meaning
the stat
men
is like
of
40
all
to 40.
ages is not having children. This is statistic. This statistic is based on age. So when they say 40 something percent of men are not having children, that same 40% is under a certain age. Meaning why 40 men that are 40, I mean, black men that are 40, black men that are 50, black men that are 60 have children at a 90% rate. So are we saying, let's say it right, black men that are under 30 have no children?
Well, even I just did what they do in their own narrative. 42% of black men don't have children. But that means that 60 something have kids? You know what I mean? We're gonna focus in on the amount that don't. 42 don't.
Well,
So what
I
78
can
do?
actually agree with those stats because, and it's anecdotal, but I know many women who, in fact, have children with a man who has other baby mamas. Yes, baby.
And the stats reflect that. Like even when women remarry, they tend to have kids by the new husband. So that increases her baby daddy count.
That increases our baby daddy count. I would still say that that's not an overall general statistic for men of all ages. Like, it's a statistic saying that single mother when black women are single mothers at a 64% rate.
I mean, look at Nick Cannon.
Well, he's
I
an
mean,
exception.
he's an exception, but he's only an exception because he's rich. That's the only reason why he's
I
an
mean, he's
exception.
an exception because he got 7
Well, look,
kids. I mean, hold on, wait, he got 10 kids. It's
And then
not a
what's
lot
the
of
other
black men that
one?
got 10
well, hold on.
kids.
How many? But it's a lot of many kids. But how many different mamas is it?
Exactly.
Because
7 of them.
Kiki Wyatt, I almost said the wrong name. Kiki Wyatt got what 11 kids by every man she's ever been married to.
Yep, by every man she's ever been married to, she had a kid with that man. She has 11 kids. She has,
Y'all see this?
I think,
I got on
4
the screen?
husbands.
This that on the screen is this is the a new report that came out. They finally did a report on men's fertility. So the number of this is the men's number of
I was
children
gonna say read it because I can't see
age.
it.
I made it big and you still can't see it?
Man, I wipe my glasses.
I can see it, though, but you gonna have to read it. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, so the characteristics of all marriages. So the total men that have children, let's see, between the total men, this is the sample size. The sample size is 121,245, right?
So out of 200, out of let's say 121K, this is the people that participated.
Right. So
Okay.
in that solid number, this is from age 15 to 60. So 40.5% of men don't have children. 14.5 have one child. 23.0 have 2 children. 12.6 have 3, and 2.4 have 4, and 4.0.
Can you highlight as you read? Okay.
Boom, right?
Okay.
These are the ones that are married. So let's go to never married because it's the argument that they make. So let's remember the first column is no kids, 1 kid, 2 kid, 3, right? So
and married, right?
Right. This is never married.
Okay.
No, this is men ever married. So this is never married right here. Never married. So 85% of men that do not have children that have never been married, 85% have 0 kids. 7.5 have 1, 3.6 have 2, 1.7 have 3, 0.7 have 4, and 0.7 have 4 and above. But that just reflects the goofy society we live in earlier. Like I was trying to say earlier, we live in a society to where now men are reporting virginity in their 30s. And if men are reporting virginity in their 30s, and the women are having a hot girl summer, then that means that they smashing the same dudes. That's just common sense. They all desire the same dudes. Ooh, he fine. So, ooh, he fine. When she jump off of him, I'm gonna jump on him.
Yeah, like my nephew. I know my nephew is 21, and I don't think that he's ever been sexually active with a girl. I'll say that. Not that he's been with a boy. I'm just saying, like, he might take care of himself, but I don't think that he's ever been with a girl, a woman, and he's about to be 21. So I can actually kind of see that list as being, accurate. A lot of young men are.
I'm just surprised because I don't. I'm just surprised. I'm just say that.
Well, like I said, I mean,
that's what.
Statistics are statistics, but I can see it, as far as just knowing people and having friends and having been around the world, because I've been around the world and I've seen it many, many times where a lot of women are in fact having the same baby daddies. They're procreating, yes, and they're procreating at a higher rate, but they are procreating with the same men. And a lot of men that aren't doing that, they're steering clear. Like, I don't want that in my life right now, So I can't agree with those statistics, even on an anecdotal level.
Hold on, wait a minute. Are these men really staying clear of not getting women pregnant, or are they just not getting picked and to have sex, to be
I mean, it could be
have that
either.
type of risk?
It could be either.
So I pulled up since I pulled up the men's fertility report. I just pulled up the men's fertility
I was
report,
going to ask you to do that. Thank you.
and as you can see on the screen on the square on the right is the fertility rate by race from 1990 to 2019. So you can gradually the reddish maroon color line is the black people, right? So in 1990, black people were at the top, or black women were at the top. It sloped down. There was a drop in 1995. It dropped down. It stayed fairly mellow through the 2000s. There was a bump in the mid 2005, 6, 7, 8, and then it dropped back down in the tens, and then it mellowed back out to 75%. 75 women per 1,000 women, so that's per capita. So, but the stark thing about it is that this list shows that black women have always had more children than any other race. The orange line is Native Americans; they're under the black women, and their numbers drop to the bottom by the time we get to 2019. The Asians are the purple. The purple, it starts at the bottom, and then it kind of goes out into the middle by 2019. The gray line is white, and it's the same. It's the same thing. It's contingent with the purple line. So that show you right there. The numbers show that black women give birth at a far higher rate than any other race in the United States.
And we always have. Like, that's not nothing new.
So that's what I'm saying. When you put that together with 60% of men don't have kids, it's like, okay, so who having these babies? The other 40% of men are having these babies.
I want to ask this question: has it always been that way, that black women always pick the same men? At one particular time, was men having children at the same rate as black women, or was those statistics always that way? Because if it was always that way, then you can't blame single motherhood. That's just nature.
Well, the reason is, see, the difference is as the society became more easygoing, where back in the days, you got married because you didn't have nowhere to live or whatever, and you needed a man to take care of you and help you raise these kids and provide for you. Well, fast forward to today's society, and the median income for black men is $42,000. The median income for black women is $36,000. Black women are making money. It ain't like it was back in the days where you needed a man. So that kind of changed it. And to me personally, I actually think that reflects more poorly on these birth rates, because that's saying that there's less women getting married, but they're still having the same amount of kids. You see what I'm saying? So getting married is having a baby with somebody is seen as less of a commitment than having a baby. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Getting married is less of a commitment than having a child.
They're seeing it.
Having a child is less of a commitment than getting married.
But they seeing it the other way around. They seeing it as having the baby is less of a commitment and less of a burden than actually getting married.
It is
and, and I get the have your woman bias on that.
I mean, I'm the only one that's not married in a single parent, and so I'm like, but it is kind of dope.
We're not gonna beat you up.
Hold on, Jess. So let me ask you this: do you think that the situation you're in now is better than if y'all would have had group economics and put y'all money together and actually work together to build something together?
We already was doing that. That shit still ain't work out.
That ain't the question I asked.
But we were doing that. You asking it as if it wasn't happening.
Y'all bought a house while y'all was not married, and
we ain't making enough to buy a house.
Not together.
Not together. Like, we was really the definition of struggle love and trying to build it from the muscle.
You want it. That's the difference.
Like I said, for my relationship, for my 10-year relationship, No, we was not married, and we definitely did not have a bunch of money. We got an LLC together. We tried to build a business together, so we sacrificed a lot of assets for that business, like cars, being able to have a car, being able to have a house. A lot of our loans went straight to our business. So
Did
what?
y'all take any? Did y'all take any classes and have any understanding of how to run a business?
Hell no.
That was a bad investment. That was a bad move.
No, we
Y'all
ain't
did,
take no classes to how
y'all
to.
did,
We had a mentor, and we had like a lot of people just showing us the ropes. We definitely had a mentor though that
you would have done
mentored us
better.
to how we supposed to do it. But there is no class to start what I was starting.
There, you
So
would have done better if you would have did what you said earlier.
what?
What you said earlier was like y'all had y'all gigs or whatever. Was nobody ever thinking about moving up and getting a better job and all that? Y'all would have in the beginning. It's always tough. Y'all would have toughed it out, got raises, moved up and got better positions. Your mortgage would have been locked into that 30-year mortgage, so your mortgage would have never went up.
Listen, things didn't start off like with a okay, we're going to go from here to there. When you start dating, you just dating. Y'all dating as individuals. And then y'all come together. And y'all try to figure out how y'all going to build.
That's watching,
You
link
try
is
to
in the
figure out
comments.
how you want to build together. Now, and I could say maybe 7 years of us being, maybe 7, 6.5 years of us being together, we decided we wanted to go into business together. So nothing started with plan A, B, C, D. Like it don't start like that. But if you asking a single person that never got married, that was in a relationship kind of longer than married people sometimes, I'm going to say the walk away or the walk away, the ending of that relationship was way more easier than a marriage. Like way more easier.
That goes back to the negative connotation in it. So marriage is the only negative to marriage is the breakup. Everything else is positive. So why don't people need to
So if you would
strive?
have heard me out instead of trying to chew me out, you would have got to that part. But like I said, it is though. And the only reason that it is because the ending, the leaving is easier. It's even easier on a man's pockets. Like it's just easier.
But
The
okay,
whole
can
thing
I
should be
can I
economic.
oh who got to fix their attitude? um
Mm.
but that's the whole thing is a lot of times when you don't make that commitment, it's so easy to walk away versus trying to fix it. And that is what I talk about when I speak on marriage. So yeah, if me and Billy were together and we were just in this committed relationship, there was no marriage or anything like that. Obviously, if things were to go south, minus the extreme, when I say extreme, I'm talking about like abuse or infidelity, because nobody should have to put up with
Right.
that.
Right.
But there are certain times that we just feel like, oh, well, I'm just really not happy. So, you know what? Because I'm not married to this person, it's easy for me to walk away. Where if you're married, you're like, okay, I really can't walk away that easily. So now let me see what I can do to fix the situation. And that is, I personally think that is an actual benefit to marriage, because it makes you think. It's no different than, let's say you have this great job, right? And you getting paid $100,000 a year, right? And things at your job ain't going right. Are you just going to be like, oh, I'm done, I don't want to do this no more? Or are you going to think, oh, well, my bills are due, I still got to pay my bills, I still got to do this, so you know what, let me see how I can fix whatever the situation is at my job so that I can make it better, so I can make it work? Because that's a commitment for you, right? Because you want that income. It should be no different when it comes to a marriage. You want that stability and you want that foundation of marriage. So you say, okay, well, you know what? Yeah, it's not going right now, but what can I do to fix it? If you're not married, it's so easy to walk away. Does that make sense?
I mean, it is. That's the sense that I was trying to say. It's easier to walk away when, well, I'm not going to say like, because that's emotional. Like, so that's dealing with your emotions. I would say it when I said it's easier to walk away, that it's easier paperly to walk away. I don't have to change my name. I don't have to go through all the paperwork that you married couples have to go through because y'all probably changed every fucking thing. So I was thinking more of those lines. But like I said, I'm going off of my anecdotal experience of 10 years plus, where I could have walked away year 3, year 4, year 5. So I can't say that it was easier to walk away because we didn't have the same paperwork or we didn't take the same vows as y'all did. The emotional ties was quite the same, and it is quite the same. That's why I would say it's easier to not be married than it is to be married because of how that shit ends.
And look, and let me say, I wanna put this out there. You know, I love you, and I've heard your story, and I respect your story, as far as what you went through, whatever. Um, because it wasn't like you're just like a baby mama and you were pregnant longer than the relationship, if that makes sense. You actually were in a long-term
Mm-hmm.
committed relationship and y'all decided not to involve marriage or whatever, and things ended and shit happened. So I don't ever want you to think that I'm speaking ill of you. Never. And especially the fact that you all have a great co-parenting situation is even a bigger plus for me. I'm just saying, is in the aspect of marriage, the reason why a lot of people do not want to get married is because of exactly what you just said. Because it's easier to walk away, whether it's 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
5 years, 15
Yeah.
years. It's
Yeah.
easier to walk away when you don't have that contract. But
Yeah.
on the flip side, there are so many benefits to being married that people overlook. You know, one of my favorite things to say, and I think I said it the last show, is wait until he die, and then you in the obituary like you a German Shepherd talking about and his long life companion. You don't even
Mm-hmm.
get the title of wife, you know, or let's say
Why you think of that mindset? Not an attack on you, Keisha, at all.
friend
Because
who,
that mindset you have, a lot of women
and
will
they
share.
came and swept everything from up under her because
I
she
don't
was
have a
not
mindset.
legally
I
married.
just answered the question. That's not my mindset. I just
Oh,
answered the
okay.
question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when women carry that mindset, to me, that's going into it with the idea of never committing to the relationship ever.
True.
Because why? If I commit to it, then it's harder for me to leave. I want to leave when I get ready to.
That's right.
I want to
I mean,
graduate my
absolutely.
marriage when I get ready to. So that's going into it with a negative connotation of saying I'm not going to even commit to this because if I get married, it's going to make it harder for me to leave when I get ready to. That's a whole bad
It's a
mindset
lot
to have going into it.
of negative connotations. I wouldn't say that's the top one because most people that are entering a relationship, and I'm gonna just put it out there, most people that's into a relationship, their end goal is marriage, whether it's private, whether it's ceremonial, whether it's paper. Their end goal is some type of this. This is it, you know. So I would say, just to answer the question straight up, why is it easier to have a baby with a person versus to getting married? And I'm gonna always say, just to just be perfectly clear, the ending of it is easier, and we definitely ironed out what the nuances of endings can happen, possibilities that things could end in a marriage. Hence why the divorce rate is so damn high.
But the
Now,
divorce rate is so high because I think a lot of people get married for all the wrong reasons to the wrong damn people.
so think about if those women that are single mothers, those 64% of women that are single mothers got married, it would be 64% of those motherfuckers that got divorced.
No, it wouldn't.
Why? Why y'all don't think that? Why? With
Because,
no
like you
fault
My
said, you
divorces,
no,
why
hold
do
on,
you
hold on,
not
hold on, hold on.
think
Let me say
that?
this. Let me say
Uh,
this. I'm gonna answer your question because, like you just said, if the 64% of the single mothers were married, it would be harder for them to walk away. So you probably have half of that in a divorce rate because it's not easy to walk away, right? That's what you said.
and
let
that
me
If
put out
whole
more
idea.
numbers. It's not. It's not. But let me also put out this uh fact. We also talked about how black women make less than black men. So that also makes it easier to leave. We also talked about how black women think when it comes down to dating. They want to date above themselves. So that also makes more incentive to fucking leave. So with those incentives, I would think that those women would still make the same fucking probably bad decisions or decisions because shit happens, and they would be divorced. So let's go back to my anecdotal experience. If I was married, I would be divorced. It would have took longer. It probably wouldn't have took 10 years. It probably would have took 15. It probably would have took till my youngest son turned 18. So let's say 17 years in our 10 years, 10 plus years. Let's say we broke up like maybe in our 11th year. So yeah, another 6 years. So as that boy walked down the aisle, we just would have looked at each other like, "You good? I'm good." Yeah, it's the end of this. Or we just would have had an open marriage from straight up, because you know me, 'cause I'm like that. So it just would have been straight up like that. Which in the normalcy, how the normal world works, is the end of a fucking marriage because it's not monogamous. So I just
Well, you a special case.
like, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a little
your
special, so
your anecdotal experience is definitely an outlier. But when we look at the overall picture, the whole concept of is having the baby with the man is less of a commitment than getting married. Well, when these women do this, then they breathing down the man's neck for him to do the responsibilities that would have came automatically if they would have collectively agreed that we're gonna be a family and we're gonna raise these kids. So by doing it that way, the stats show it. The single parent household is at a deficiency versus the families that have two parent households. They have their children have overall better outcomes altogether. So why
yes,
why so
let's
why
evaluate the
would you
guys that's
why
doing
would
this
you
though.
why would you intentionally want to put your child at a deficiency? And it goes for both men and women. This is gender neutral. It goes for
It's
both
not
men and
gender
women.
neutral because statistics say that men raise children better. They have a better outcome. They have some of the same outcomes as two parent home. So that's not really gender neutral. So I would
And
say
that
this:
statistic is
these
based on a
same
small, minute
guys,
number.
you're fucking pulling hairs. Like that's pulling hairs. So the same group of guys that have that think that marriage is it's not worth it have the same idealisms of ending and their money, where their money going to go. They got to pay her child support, they got to pay her alimony. It's the same. We're going back to individualism. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same as like, all right, women think apples are falling off the trees, so men think apples are falling off the trees. They just want to think apples are falling just differently. They're not falling, they're gravitating towards the ground. Like it's still fucking falling, but that's just how men are. So I'm going to say it's not the same, but it has the same fucking ending. And the ending is they both have a negative nuances on marriages. Not always just the ending. Sometimes everybody is thinking about who, if I get played, if I get fucked in this situation, I'm out. You hear men right now talking about how this is a dead, I'm leaving her. I'm not staying. And it's not talking about cheating. It's not talking about her putting her hands on him. It's the same little shit, the nitpicking that women do. So all I'm saying is, with those things that are being, those nuances, how do we think just because someone got married, they was gonna stay? Like,
But that takes
Let's,
that
let's
takes it back to, are we vetting the people that we marry? Are we marrying for a Disney fairy tale? Are we marrying thinking that I'm one day going to sit on my front porch with my husband while his balls are sagging and my vagina is dry, and I'm gonna watch my grandchildren play in the yard? Are we marrying for that? Are we marrying for generational wealth? What are we marrying for? If we're just marrying for a title and for the wedding day, it's going to fail. You have to get married. When you get married, if you decide to get married, it literally has to be because this is the person that you foresee yourself being with for the rest of your life and raising your children and creating a legacy and all the other things with. And
but I
that's
want to
supposed to be the purpose of marriage. It's not just to wear a
absolutely.
ring and call yourself Mrs. Fields.
I want to take a moment to address the two new panelists that popped up,
yeah.
Mugabe and Trey. Welcome to the panel.
Welcome back, brother Mugabe, and
What's up,
welcome
family?
Trey. I don't think I met you before, but welcome Trey, and welcome back, brother Mugabe.
Which Trey is this? Is this Trey from California?
You gotta unmute yourself, brother.
No, until he figure it out. Yeah, I've been
Yeah,
listening in
he's
the
trying to get his sound together.
Yeah, it's
and
at the
the
bottom. I think. I don't know
how's
if you're
about
on
audio? Is
with the
my
right
audio
screen.
all right?
Your audio is always good
Yeah, you
on
I
good,
can hear
Mugabe.
StreamYard.
you.
All right. Well, I want to. The first thing I want to do is chime. The first thing I want to chime in about this conversation is the dynamic of brother Tim's. I think this is not being understood. The fact that most women, not men, most women think it's easier to have a child than it is to have a functional relationship.
No,
That
I acknowledge that. That's something I said that earlier.
I'm saying you did. I'm saying you said that,
You
and
just said it better.
I'm saying that that concept is so fundamentally flawed to to a people being anything. It's ridiculous. Like I don't think y'all understand this. Like no man would ever say that. Men would not say it's easier for me to be a father than it is for me to be a husband. No man would say that. None. That means we've created a society, for whatever reason, we've created a society where our women, women in general, black women in particular, feel that it is exponentially easier to be a single mom than it is to be a wife. That is a problem. That this
Let's
isn't not a
examine that. Can
this
we
is not
pause
a
you on that right there? That was
That was
a
good.
big that was good. You said, can I reiterate? Women think that it's easier to be a single mother than a wife. I'm going to say it probably is.
What?
I'm
how.
going to say I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Let me tell you what.
But
Let me tell
I'm
you.
going to
Let me tell you
say
what those
it's
feelings that come.
probably does. I'm not look. You're trying to rationalize some shit that's probably not rational. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm just answering the question.
Right.
It probably is, though. Being a wife is a lot. It's not an easy job.
It's a lot easier than being a single mom.
I don't know
What's
about
wrong
that
with
because
you?
literally being a single mother is just not being married. But I could cohabitate
Listen very carefully.
and never be a wife.
Listen very carefully.
It
That
sounds fucked
means
up,
hold
but
on,
that's
hold
what
on,
it
hold on,
be.
hold on, hold on. What it is when you hear women say that, and I'm not saying you, Keisha, I'm not on your head.
I get
When you
it. I
hear
get it.
women say that, they say that I'm not willing to compromise, I'm not willing to be accountable, and I'm not willing to be a team player. I wanna be a dictator in what's going on in my life. It's easier for me to be a dictator over this little human being's life than to be an active participant and a team player in something that might be bigger and better. That's exactly what you're saying.
I don't
Ooh.
know if I'm saying that,
Sis,
and I'm
that's
not going to
literally
disagree or
that's
debate with you if that's
I know it's
how
not a
it
it's
came
not a
off.
listen, let me
I'm gonna
finish.
just
Let me
say,
finish.
in my
Let me finish,
mind,
sis. Let me finish. I'm not saying in your mind. I'm saying in
right?
women that say that. Women that hold that ideology. Women
Mhm.
that hold an ideology that say, oh, fuck no. There ain't no way I'm finna be nobody's wife. I ain't no motherfucking slave. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. But you gonna be a slave to a fucking child
Mm,
by your motherfucking self. Do you
Wow.
understand how? And I'm not. And I listen to me carefully. I am not an advocate for marriage in 2024, 2023. I am not an advocate for it. I don't see any upside for it for young men. I simply don't, because most American women don't have enough skin in the game for it to make sense. Now, if y'all start having some economic and some losses associated with not being in a relationship, not being in a functional relationship, I think that relationships are going to get better. Like right now, everything is in a woman's favor. That's the reason why you can say what you say. I don't want to be a wife. I'd rather be a single mom, because America has created a society where America has your back as a single mom.
I wasn't even thinking about it like that. I just really
I know
wasn't.
you
I just
wasn't.
like I just really
but
was like, if the question was in my face, and you said I got to make this shit logical or rational, this is how I would make it rational. I wouldn't put it the way that you put it, but like I said, if I could cohabitate, meaning I get all this wifey ass treatment without signing these papers and not having the obligation of a
You go
wife.
have but you go have the
but
obligations of a wife. If you doing everything like a wife, you're a wife. Fuck the
No,
okay.
you
paperwork.
don't. I mean, no,
Well,
you don't.
well,
Because
Hold
again,
on, hold on,
we
sis.
going
Hold
back
no.
on,
to the
sis.
walk
Hold on,
away.
sis.
The walk
Sis,
away is
hold
easier.
on,
So
hold on, sis.
But
Hold on,
but
sis.
okay,
The
when
walk
you're
away
done,
is
I want to speak
easier.
as a wife.
I'm done. I'm done. Because Trey face is just
Hold on, I want to
like
speak as a wife because I think I'm the only wife right now, right?
yeah, you're the only wife on the line.
I'm the only wife right now, right? And look, I'm not even mad at what you said. Yeah, if you can, kind of like they say, why buy the cat? Why buy the milk? What is it? Why
Why
buy the
buy the
cow
cow
if
when you
you get
get
the
the
milk
milk
for
for
free,
free?
right? So I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, your privilege as a girlfriend ends at a certain point where my privileges as a wife extend far beyond that. Now, I'm going to address one thing that you did say. Being a wife isn't about obligation. And I think that's where a lot of women go wrong. I do what I do as a wife out of love, not out of obligation. I do it out of love. So whether he was my boyfriend, whether he's my husband, whether it doesn't matter. I do what I do out of love and not because I'm like, okay, I'm a wife, so I guess I have to cook, I guess I have to clean, I guess I have to do laundry, I have to do this or that. No, I don't do that. No different than his obligations, we'll call them obligations, right? He's to provide and protect me, right? And our children. He goes out into the world every day. He works his ass off. He pays all the bills. He does everything. So when that man walks in the house, I make sure that his dinner is ready. I make sure that his glass is filled with water. I make sure that his laundry is done. I make sure his house is clean. I make sure I keep the kids away from him at least for an hour so he can decompress because he's battled the world all day, not me. I didn't have to go out in the world, right? I don't do it out of obligation, though. I do it out of love. And that's the difference between a when you think about marriage and if you married the right person for the right reasons.
But a girlfriend can do the same shit though, sis. You don't
Now
have
the
to be
thing about
married
it
to
is
get
that
that.
a
No,
caveat that
a girl, okay, you're right. Hold on, wait.
hang
Let
on,
me
hang
address
on,
that. A
wait, wait,
girlfriend can do that, but let me tell you, at the end of the day, a girlfriend is not going to have the privileges. Let's say they're together for 20 years. They never. They let's just say they do not believe in contractual.
her sound went out. Your sound went out, Jess.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ancestors didn't want to hear that shit.
Person is taken care of
I
in
knew
the
you
case
was
of your
gonna say it.
departure.
All right. While she get her sound
Why?
together,
Listen. Why? Look.
She got it.
Hold on. So if something happens,
I want Trey to get in here too. He's been patient.
something.
Yeah, I
If
want
some,
Trey to get in this too.
okay, I'm
Go
gonna say this and I'll be done.
Yes, your sound keeps
Yeah, your
going out.
sound went out again.
And
Hello.
I'm not his wife. Guess who can come and pull the plug? They can. I have
We
no
understand,
legal say.
but we get that part, Jess. We get that. We fully get that part. But most marriages don't last to 20 years. We're talking about a woman behaving in a certain manner that would make a man say, "This is the woman I want to be with," whether it be under some contractual shit or some non-contractual shit. That's what we're talking about there. We ain't talking about just, I'm not, at least, or at least I'm not. I'm saying that if the concept of most of these young women, Keisha not lying. She's saying the truth. She's saying that most of these young women think it's easier, it's simpler to be a single mom than it is to be in a committed relationship. Do you understand? Fuck a wife in a committed
Yeah.
non-toxic relationship. Do you understand how fundamentally flawed that is? Fuck a wife.
I can't.
Fuck a
Well, I personally can't relate because there's nothing better than my husband. Y'all know me. Well, most of y'all, Trey don't know me.
Let's let brother
I
Trey get in
can't
there.
I don't.
see being
Let's let
without a
Trey
I
man.
can't
So
answer why they don't.
to
So brother Trey could get in this. I can't answer to why women don't want at the least a non-toxic committed relationship. And I do agree with Moody Wild when he was like, fuck a marriage. We ain't even get to that level yet. We're just dealing with the non-toxic part, and why do women rather she wants to be a wife or rather she actually wants to take that step after you get out of toxicity? Once you out of that, right, and we get into the wife part, all I'm saying is by the time you done got the cow now, like I might as well stay here and I got free milk. Shit. I ain't even had the time for nothing. Go ahead, brother Trey.
First of all, let me say thank you all for inviting me up, and hello everyone that's here. And I didn't hear the initial topic, so I'm just gonna go in on what I've been hearing from the panel that's here. I have been married twice. This is my second marriage. First marriage, 24, wasn't really ready. I was in the military. Military life is unlike anything you could ever experience on the civilian side. You got bukus of females, everybody in shape, everybody got money. Ain't nobody talking about money because everybody got it. So she can be a 5 in the face, a 10 in the body. She can be you can get it. She's gonna develop all the skills that you look for in women outside of the military. Now, divorced in 97, married, played the field. I was one of those, I'm gonna get 10 of y'all to my one. it was easy. I have always been a guy that held myself to a high standard when it came to my skill set. You know, I like to work with my hands. I always believe a man should have 5 skills at least, especially being young, you know, trying to get out here, trying to find a way, trying to make it. I see now, you know, and I've spent years life coaching males and females from all walks of life, all cultures. This is just, and I say this, and I hope I don't offend anybody. This is just, chickens coming home to roost from the crack era. This is a new phenomenon over the last 35 years. If you're 40 years old, you've seen a lot of trauma. You've seen some of your best guys in your family get taken out by people that you know. You've seen the women that you know get strung out on drugs. You've seen those kids get put out on the street. Some of you all may be recovering from those things. It's a lot of guys who are trying to find their way because as a young man, they may have went through some trauma just based on their lifestyle and put themselves in jeopardy. Now they out here trying to figure it out at 35 and 40. Unfortunately, we at a time where when the mother left the home, the young women were made to figure it out by themselves. So they've been surviving for 30 years, just scrapping and scraping, they scheming, and this is where you got one guy that can fix it, one guy that can unplug it, the drink, you got these, and I don't know the age of, the panel, but what you see now is like our strongest generation of young adults are not even getting along. Y'all can't even have a decent conversation just about life. We're arguing about relationships. I've never seen that before. I've never seen it. It's coming because here we are. We can put all the titles on us. We're these people. We're the salt of the earth. We're all of this. But in reality, we all are loyal to America. Now, ain't none of y'all leaving America. You might go visit Dubai, as they say. You might travel, but you coming right back here to your 2-bedroom apartment. You right back here. So we gotta get to a space to where, although I think now everybody's moving in a place of scarcity. Everybody's sort of scared to take that jump. I was one of those guys. If you met me 11 years ago, I wouldn't have gave up my lifestyle. It was too easy. I was a brother, had my own place, had my own car. I wasn't making all this money. I just did it well. I managed my money. I've always been able to do that since I was young. I've been able to manage my money. You went where I said we were going. That's just how I operated. If you didn't go, I played baseball. To play baseball, go in the Hall of Fame, you only got to hit 3 out of 10. So if I can get 3 out of 10, I'm winning. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So what we have to do now, and I ask this question to a lot of young women. You meet a guy, you're in a relationship. You with him for 10 years. He leaves you. What do you get out of that? Besides your funny looking kids that look like him, and every time you look at him, those kids, you mad at the kids because they look like him and act like him, and he broke your heart. You get nothing. But at least if you're married, something happened, you at least get 50%. And then you only have to go 20 years. Let's just say 2 years from now, he gets sick. And you've invested in all this house and all this, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Or he has a house, or however, he gets sick. You may not even know that he had an insurance policy worth $300,000 or $400,000. And he's already had his beneficiaries on there, but he's waiting. A man will wait till he's married to say, let me go and put my wife on there because you put in that time. And y'all split up. Or he gets sick and you coming in like, I want to do all this. Man, you're not his wife. You can't do anything. You standing outside the hospital talking about why? Because we don't look at and what's her name? Sister Morphine. Is that how Morphine? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's how you say it, morphine.
You said it exactly how a lot of women look at it. You got to take life as a box. And when a lot of people get into a box, they only try to find one way out of that box. They'll keep running into that same corner, that same line. They'll, bam, why is it ain't working? Because they never look at the entire box. And inside your box for 30, 20, 25, 30 years of your life, it's been pain, hurt, disappointment, let down, anger. You know, people have left you that you feel like you loved and committed. But when you finally come to an age of reason, you realize that there's more ways to get out of this box. And you cannot move in fear when you're trying to accomplish something that's greater than you. You cannot do it. A lot of
That
us,
part.
the first thing we speak in, what if it don't work? What if it don't? What if it don't? You'll never win in that capacity. We'll always lose. Our true nature as a people is to, it's almost like we have to work and help. We have to work and help. What I mean by that, everybody goes to work pretty much. Whether you're an entrepreneur making $22,000 a year, whether you're going to work for a company, whether you're trying to just find your way, you have to go to work. And we are the people that we can go through the Bible from front to back and recite everything. But if you don't put in the work, and think about putting in the work, that work allows you to start seeing the pieces of the puzzle to put together. So when you get to certain places in your life, believe me, and most men, you know, we, especially men of color, and I only speak of men of color. When I speak, believe me, I'm talking about my brothers and my sisters. I don't care about other races because they ain't got the same dynamic as we got. Most men realize that life is about the work you put in at an early age. Because one, you lived in a house with a mama who was very, very unstable. And the fact that he grew to be 6'2" and look like his daddy, she don't like him no more. Because once his kahunas drop, she can no longer be the voice in his ear. And when I mean by kahunas, I hope y'all know what that word is. Once a boy's kahunas drop, he no longer smells the scent of his mother. He is going to smell the opposite sex. Now, it's unfortunate that a lot of our women today, they put their physicalness on display to people too early. You put it out there too early. You burn it up too early. That's why we see a lot of these women having children early age. And it's always been something that we've had. But now that we've verbalizing, I don't need, because women, y'all very trendy. Y'all follow celebrity voices. Us men can give y'all the blueprint to be successful. If Beyonce go out there and say something different, Sierra, y'all go, yeah, we that. That's what you do. Because celebrities are the ones saying we don't need a man, but we will have that baby. That is going to keep your children and your grandchildren poor forever. If you allow them to live there,
that's generational. That's
But
generational. That's the
but it's
generation
only-
under me. But you're right.
but it's only been in like the last 30 years. Crack really, this is the repercussions of that time. Because if you was 10 or you wasn't born, you lived in chaos. You lived in chaos.
So that's my era. Crack era is my era. So the era that you're talking about is the generation after that. That exactly everything that you said is the generation after that, where the celebrities is influencing in their lives. But for women and men in my age group, we was going through too much shit to care about what they're trying to say.
But you were just speaking on it. A lot of you all speak in separation. You speak in separation.
Yeah. Like individuals, like nothing is together. It's all.
But men can be in those spaces and come to some type of agreement once we get the information. it's like you have to continue to grasp information. I always tell people, don't listen to the messenger, just listen to the message. Because men, we're made to be brutes sometimes. We're made to be aggressive sometimes. We're made to be just assholes sometimes. Because we got to go out to the world to say, black man, you're still less than all other races. You're still less, even your women. We want y'all women. We're gonna let them wear all their clothes, show their cheeks, show their breasts, put on this hair, put on all this weed, and destroy the hair. That's natural because brothers like what's that? How you pronounce your name, brother? Timotheus.
Timotheus.
He looked like he got
And then
locks
the
in his
other
head.
one is Mugabe.
But those brothers look like they got locks in their head. They and black men do very little to their hair. And look how it grows. It grows strong because that's the nature. But women, you all get caught up in this fantasy at an early age, and nobody's. It takes a father really to balance a child out. That's why I got these lions behind me, because if you really want to understand how to raise your child, go to YouTube and watch a pride of lions with the male. When that male lion come of age and he's around them females and he's acting up, they will call out to the male for him to come in and straighten that boy out. Then he gonna put his boy on task and tell him he got to go. Unfortunately, our sisters are so, and you can say what it, people use slavery, they use all this, but between the end of slavery in 1965, the black family was the strongest. We were married at 61%. We graduated high school and got a GED at 98%. So we got passing grades all the way around. Up into the early 2000s, all of those numbers plummeted. They flipped upside down. And now you're seeing young men who's struggling with their identity. You're seeing young women who's struggling just keeping their innocence because everything they see is like just out in the open too early. They out here. We just got to find a way to fix it. And I think these conversations are good, but it's not one easy fix because you live in the South. I live in, people, depending on where people live, we have to continue to keep on talking. I think once we can find a census, then I think it could get better. But right now, we losing because I don't know if y'all watch, I was former military, but I don't know if y'all watch the news and all this. But the Israelites, the Israelis, they coming. South of the border, they coming. That's why they building all these new apartments and high-rise. They're not building for you and me and your children, because your children don't want. And I say you, I don't mean you, but our children don't
We
want
get it. It's not literal,
But you gotta make it. You gotta make that know, because some people take it personal. A lot of our children don't want to take that next step, and it's important for us as adults to push them to be greater and better than who we are.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
I just want to say, Mr. Trey, I don't know you, but I agree with everything that you said.
I want to say something about what he said. He said a lot. You said a lot, Mr. Trey. But one thing that did stand out was the beauty regimen when it comes down to black men and black women. I think it's made simpler for black men or men in general to look as simple as possible in the beauty department versus us black women or women in general. So the beauty standard is always on a pedestal. So that's a societal thing. I don't think that's like a mating thing. I don't think that has.
Well, can I say this? I don't know if anybody else watches a lot of like the History Channel or things like that, but if you ever look, it's general. Like for example, I'll take the peacock, right? Peacock, for example. The peacock male is the one with the beautiful feathers, right? Have you seen a peacock female? They ugly as shit. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of times even in nature, the male has to do some type of ritual, some type of dance, even down to like penguins. They have to collect a certain amount of rocks in order to woo that female penguin.
Yeah.
So, beauty is it's subjective to everybody. Y'all could think I'm ugly as hell, but my husband thinks I'm a 22, you know. So again, it's subjective when you speak on that aspect. And a lot of men do like natural. A lot of men don't want the extra stuff that some women tend to do to make themselves something other. Like I can even admit that I love when I see my sisters with their natural hair. I do. I love it. When I see them with like when I look at sexy red, I barf in my mouth. Like I do. I barf in my mouth. When I see things like that, it's just like you could be so much more beautiful if you just was natural.
I
But
just think I
again,
just think
but hold on, but there's always two sides. I'm always gonna be fair and unbiased, but there's two sides because if men would stop applauding that bullshit and subscribing to that bullshit, then women would probably stop doing that bullshit.
It's not true.
I mean,
I
I
think
would
it
say that I would say something that's not even totally opposite. It would say like I would say like this. I don't think that weave is the problem. I think that women got to start picking amongst their hair texture because we
yeah,
all wear weave from
yeah,
black, white to Asian. We all wear weave. I think we all start picking our own hair texture, then
yeah.
that'd be different. And I'm you see me, I got box braids. I stay in with box braids. I think when men are talking about natural hair and what they show us, it's not what we look at in the mirror and what we see in the mirror half the time.
I
So
agree.
it makes us a lot. I'm not going to say a little. I'm going to say a lot of insecure when it comes down to our hair textures. When it comes down to a man hair's texture, we just don't see it the same.
Hmm.
We don't. When a man hair texture is
Uh,
more
I
coily,
disagree. I
uh,
disagree because
Well,
I
I'm
don't.
just,
every
I'm saying
I
as a
will,
woman,
I
we
will,
don't see it the same. Society don't see it the same.
I'm just,
It just does. It
I
don't.
will agree with her when she says like, what, in other words, what she's saying is that don't be ridiculous with your weave. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can have a weave. Like I'll give you a good example. I like to watch Kendra G, the single dating chick, because it'd be funny as hell sometimes. And even though I know she wears weave, it looks like it could be her hair. When you start wearing shit that don't even look like it belonged to you, I think that's a little different.
I'm gonna disagree because
no,
Kendra
I
She
want to
wears
say
Brazilian wavy, and there ain't no black woman got
But
Brazilian wavy in her hair. So
you know
no,
what I'm
no,
you
no,
know what I'm saying. It just
hang on,
it
hang
I
on.
know here. I'm gonna just
she not
express my
wearing blonde
expertise.
hair. We know
That's
you're not
different.
going blonde hair.
Women wear green, purple. I got green hair in my hair. That's not even natural. So my thing is, it's not about your color. It's about your texture. If she could have rocked Afrocentric hair and straightened that shit, it would have looked different. First of all, black hair don't get straight and that thin. Our hair is thicker than that. Our weaves are thicker than that. We don't even wear weaves like white women do or Asian women do. They
Well,
hair be
I don't
thin
wear weave
compared
at
to us.
all. So
So you wouldn't even know. I'm just telling
yeah,
you
I don't
from
wear
what
weave.
a black man sees. He sees a bunch of black women with a bunch of European ass hair in her hair, like it's hers.
Hmm.
Like it grew
Well,
out her
But do
hair.
you understand? Do you understand? Do I want the women to fundamentally understand that the one of the major problems that we have with the sisterhood right now is the vanity and the narcissism. Fuck your hair. What is your personality?
mm.
Are you able to move within the context of a relationship? Are
Did you
you
change it to a peacock?
selfish? Are you greedy? That fuck with this is the thing about it. You gotta we're talking about what is the problem with the black female and black male relationships in this country. All that vain and narcissistic shit means absolutely nothing right now. What is her character? Is she a team player? Is she out for self? These are the things that these young men are saying. These are the things that these young men are saying. And then they're saying at the end of that, if she's none of those things, and she's also vain and narcissistic.
She's
like
Y'all
that.
not
also
even
mean and
listening to what
narcissistic.
these young men are saying.
No, I
Don't
like that.
worry that this is y'all not even paying attention. Y'all out the average young woman out here is on some vain narcissistic shit and not paying attention to what the regular young men are saying. They're saying we don't give a fuck about the and not me because I'm not a young man no more. They're
Right.
saying they don't give a fuck about that BBL shit. They don't give a fuck about what kind of hair you're buying. They don't give a fuck about the naked dress. They're literally saying, where are the solid women that can potentially be long-term relationship material? That's what
That
they're
is the point.
saying.
You're right.
That's what the young men are asking for. And y'all and women, soon as we start talking, y'all start, and I'm not saying you two, I'm saying in
Yeah.
general, women start moving the fucking goalposts to shit that has nothing to do with what these 20-year-old brothers is saying, these 25-year-old brothers is saying, these 30-year-old brothers is saying. Y'all not even paying attention. And the brother Trey, that's a military veteran. I'm a veteran myself, brother. Good to meet you. Thanks for your service. And I said that to say this. Like, if you go into the military, what makes you a good person for the military? You're a team player, you know how to have accountability, and you don't make motherfucking excuses.
Damn
That's
right.
what makes a motherfucker a good soldier. So and those are the same exact qualities that make a motherfucker a good person in a relationship. But we're not even paying attention to none of that shit. We're paying attention to all of the wrong shit. Like the sisterhood is like, because the sisterhood is loud that's why you got these niggas like the passport bros that's saying they willing to leave the whole fucking hemisphere to go get a broad. These niggas is leaving the fucking Western hemisphere to try to find a woman. That's how fucking jaded they are.
Mm.
Come on, man, because
Yeah.
there's a huge disconnect, y'all, and I land the plane.
That's right.
The
I like
disconnect
that,
is
Trey.
huge.
Trey, I like you. I like that you changed your background to the peacock.
To the peacock.
I like that.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna just add on what brother, how you pronounce your name up there? Mugabe.
Mudawa.
You can say
Mudawa?
Mugabe or Mudiwa.
Yeah,
However
Mugabe,
you
like Robert Mugabe from Zimbabwe.
Okay. So, you touched on the passport, bro. And this is something that I'm sort of like, nah, you can be a passport, bro. Yeah, get your passport because the world is going to become more global. Just like this e-commerce, you're going to be able to network outside of America. Unfortunately, when you go to these other countries, especially an American black male, you have to compete against those men in those countries. And y'all see these countries that are at war. A lot of them look like they just ravish with basic concrete, dirt floors, limited running water. Your restaurant, you sitting outside, eating probably with your hands, eating a wrap or something. You ain't sitting in no fine dining with the air conditioner and the wine serve. You're gonna be out there eating rice with your hands, probably on a table that ain't even been wiped off since last Friday. Now,
Right.
the problem with that is you really just getting the basic woman anyway. Now, granted, they're taught at your early age, the boys and the girls, to be domestic, meaning they're going to be the girls are going to be responsible for at least cooking the food. If they ain't cooking, they at least prepping the carrots, whatever vegetable they eat, the rutabaga or whatever. They're being groomed by mama because mama ain't at the pool party. Mama ain't sitting in the salon 5 hours getting her hair done. Mama ain't over her friends smoking blunts, turning up at the club. Mama is preparing the meal for the family, trying to keep the family organized in a lot of those countries. So a lot of them, the women, yeah, they want to come get out of that. You know, they get older. They parents will tell them, find a man so you can get out and be with the husband. And a lot of brothers, you know, they go over and hey, listen, you 20. I would say if you 20, get away from mom and dad. Even if you go 2 or 3 hours away, get away for a few years because your man instincts will kick in. They will kick in. And then you'll understand a little bit more how to live independently and self-sufficiently if you're about that life. Some dudes like, man, I'm gonna do right here. I'm gonna get it from the dirt every day. But that's okay. But that's a even limited lifestyle because eventually you get caught up in that you really ain't going nowhere. You really just gonna be right there all your life. Go to the same clubs, see the same girls that turned you down in high school. They, you know, but in different cultures, that's what they see. Now in America, unfortunately, a lot of our youth are learning from these faces. A lot of our youth are learning from outside the home, and nobody's really getting the information that's truly needed to be independent and self-sufficient. A lot of these guys hollering about they can't find a good woman. I'll tell them like this: forget the women. If you grew up in the house with sisters, you should be the last one crying about women because you know exactly how they are. You should just be working. And then when I say work on yourself, it ain't about the money because most dudes ain't making $30 an hour anyway. And if they do, they spending it on Jordan, making him rich. They spending it on fake knockoff clothes because the only way you can get the authentic clothes, you got to go over to those countries where it's $8 on the, you know, it's, a pair of Jordan is $15, $20. So we still live in the poor lifestyle.
I said that, Mr. Trey. I said that the more money you got, the more expenses you may have, whether they're petty expenses or whether they're miscellaneous expenses. The more money you got, the more problems.
But I'd like to add something, only because I'm Black and German, and my mother was German, and even though my dad wasn't a passport bro in parentheses, he, you know, landed my mother. And then I have an aunt who also has a Black husband who she married over there and then came back overseas. They weren't out for visas. They actually, you know, they fell in love with this man and they came over here, you know. I say that only to say that a lot of times they are more apt to do certain things for their men than American, well, I'll say westernized, the modern women would do. And I'll give you a brief example. I'll never forget one day, me and my mother, we lived together because of an illness and I had to take care of her. And I had told her, I said, well, Billy's coming to pick me up. I'm going to go upstairs and shower and get dressed. So listen out for the door, right? So when I came downstairs, this woman had a whole meal cooked for this man. She ain't even dating him. And I'm like, what is you doing, Ma? How you know we wasn't going out to dinner, right? She was like, it doesn't matter. Now you don't have to go out to dinner. Now you can go do something else. So I like I said, I say that to say that a lot of times the women in these other countries, they are more programmed to do more for men than we are programmed as Western women to do for men. And that's why a lot of men will kind of what's the word I'm looking for? They'll levitate to other women from other cultures.
My whole take.
Piggyback off of what's the go ahead.
I just want to say this was my opinion. My opinion. I'm not saying I know anything about nothing, but when I dove into the passport bros and started investigating all of them, they tend to pick third world countries where the American dollar goes a very, very long way.
That's true.
So that median income of $40,000 here in the Philippines is like $500,000. So he can go over there and present himself as a person of status even though at home he's nobody. He's just a dude that worked at the warehouse that make $40,000 a year. But he can go over here to these other countries, and now he can insert himself, and he can live a dream and experience this dream of how he's always wanted to be treated. And I think that's more the allure for those guys than the whole concept of finding a good life and all of that. Because if that was the case, we would see the marriage rates going up, which we don't. You know, we like Brother Trey said earlier, they go over there, they go out to some other countries, and then they bring their ass right back to their 2-bedroom apartment. Just like the women do. Just like the women do. So it isn't exclusive. You know what I mean? Go ahead,
Yeah,
Christian.
no, you're absolutely. It's no different than when people from Mexico come into the United States. They send their money back home because it's triple the amount in value than they would make if they were there. So they can make $500. Let's just say roughly. Let's say that they make a $500. They send that back home. That's $2,000 to them. So I definitely agree with what you're saying.
All right, people, we at our 2-hour mark. Sorry. I do this every show. We at our 2-hour mark. I would like to end with the last remarks. I'm gonna start first. I want to piggyback off of what Mr. Trey said about the guys going over there and how the women are. I said this, and I said this in my own opinion. I don't understand how men and women go over there with a Western mindset and think it's going to work out for them in the long run, because the way their lifestyle is and the way that our lifestyle is something totally different. And then I also want to say something about as far as the foods and things of that nature. What they eat and what we eat is something totally different. It's not always the same shit that you find in an Indian restaurant or the restaurants you got here in America. Is not always the same foods. So that's another nuance. These are just
pigeons.
All types of crazy shit. So I'm just painting like little simple nuances. And I will also paint the last nuances of both men and women do. This is what they both do. It's something that Timothy has said a long time ago on, I think, maybe our third show. And it went along the lines of a lot of people, men and women, are going out to look for things that are only beneficial to themselves and not the overall picture. You know, whether it's a man or whether it's a woman. And the things that y'all guys have said on this live, as far as, those women already being domestic, already knowing how to treat a man. It has nothing to do with the overall picture. It's all about how it is for them as an individual. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing about what those women overall fucking picture is. What they want in life. The things that they don't have there, that we have here, that they can benefit off of. It's not about that, because they don't really want them to benefit off of none of that shit. So I don't think it's really about building together when it comes to a lot of passport bros, more so than the nuances of what they get for what they could put out. And I land my plan there.
I want to end by saying I'm calling cap. Like I started this live, I'm calling cap on all the dudes that say marriage is worthless. There's no point in getting married, but then they talk about go jump on the plane and go get married. That's a contradiction right there. I'm calling cap on all the dudes that talk about, well, black women are the most divorced and the most what's the, you know what I'm talking about, the least married, the most divorced and all that. So is the black man. They at the bottom of that list holding hands together. So that argument is redundant. It's redundant. I'm calling cap on the women that say there's no benefit going 50-50 with a man. It's like, well, how is that? If a woman makes $25,000, the man makes $25,000, that's a $50,000 income. How is that not beneficial?
That part.
How is that not beneficial? How is that not striving to get us as a community out of the poverty section? We're in the poverty section. And the reason why is because we the most divorced, both men and women. We the most not never married. We got the most bastard children, which is a financial strain, which is why being a single mother, I don't understand how that's easier to take care of 3, 4, 5 kids by yourself. I don't know how that makes sense. That's easier than being in a whole functional relationship and have somebody to help you do it, somebody to help you with these kids, child. I don't understand that. That's just my whole thing. So I'm just calling cap on all these podcasts that's spewing this nonsense that getting married is worthless, that going 50-50 is a bad thing, and that's just where I'm at with it. And I land the plane.
Well, mine will be, I agree with everything Thea's just said. I call cap. Raise your children together. Stop having babies by men that don't want nothing to do with you. Get married. Get you some life insurance. Work. Build generational wealth. Leave your children something. Raise them versus maintaining them. And just do what you got to do. So I'm with T on this one.
Yeah, and I want to say, in closing, before we get out of here, for the most part, 2023 for an American male in general, black male in particular, that's of a certain status in life, marriage has very little utility. I think that you can be in a functional relationship and not be married, but if you choose to get married, kudos to you. If you don't, kudos to you. Don't let that be. Don't waste your time looking for uh looking for a racehorse in a field full of zebras, and hopefully
Okay.
somebody catches that. And don't don't spend too much time trying to make some of the sisters be something that they were never raised to be. Don't waste your time. Don't do it. I don't recommend the whole passport bro thing, but I do recommend that young black men travel and see how other cultures get down. Travel the country. Don't just travel out of the country. Travel the country. Travel the hemisphere. Go to Canada. Go to South America. Go to, travel around and see how people interact. And I guarantee you, it's going to make you uh you're not even going to have conversations with a lot of the women that you're going to be like, okay, that's your get down, cool. It's 7 billion motherfuckers out here, half of them women, so I think I got a good chance at meeting a good one. So it's like, if you don't want to put up with the BS, and I'm not saying all of them are BS. There's some phenomenal sisters out here. There is some phenomenal sisters out here. But you shouldn't have to go through a tug of war, bro. You shouldn't. And don't waste your time having a tug of war. Go out there, live your life, be about your money, be about your future, be about your business. And if you happen to meet someone that is willing to help you grow, and you can help her grow in certain areas, by all means, do whatever you feel you need to do, whether that's marriage or regular cohabitation. It doesn't matter to me. But don't think of yourself less, or don't be so critical about the women in your immediate environment. Just expand your environment. And I land the plane.
Yes, brother. I'm going to try to land my plane with no turbulence. He's spot on as far as, young men getting out here, being adventurous, being part of that true nature. That's just part of who we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be adventurous. We're supposed to go out and try to see as much of the world and find our niche in some capacity. And I'll make a pledge to the women. It's time to change our uniform. Y'all been living in this BAPS uniform too long. Give it up, please. Come on back to y'all true nature. Because y'all shine like new money when y'all hit the sun anyway. Y'all don't need all this stuff to spend all y'all money on. Invest that money in your children. I know it's, and I'm going to speak on the men too, but invest a lot of that money. And if you look around and you see a woman that spend $1,000 on her person, but she's still borrowing money, rent money from you, car note money from you, you know her life is in total chaos. Try to help her. Save your money, 90 days. Invest in your children. If you have a son or a daughter that you know is smart, that you ain't got to help with their homework, and you get it all wrong for them and they can figure it out, invest in them because they will create that generational wealth. Teach them the financial literacy that you do not have. Teach them about the importance of buying a home because that's one of the only ways of most people of color will ever create that generational wealth. And men, it's time to just step away from what you used to. It's time. You 2021, you got to start looking at all avenues to put yourself in great positions. When I was in high school, if you'd have been a recruiter, I would have ran from you. I would have ran like, nope. At 22, it gave me the world. I ain't looked back since. It gives you opportunity to make money, live for free, get in the best shape, see the best women, all on somebody else's dime. Every guy that go in the military, and I'm not saying it ain't for everybody because people don't want to go to college, okay. People want to be entrepreneurs, okay. But what that does, it just gives you an opportunity to go somewhere, learn, make a lot of money, because they give them $15,000 just to go in and be a fireman. I think it's 30,000, 15 once you get out of training, then a 30,000 when you get out, another 15 when you get out. So that's $30,000 tax-free that you can have. I think that we just need to continue to have these conversations, but also it's almost, I look at everything in a sports perspective. We just sat here in this huddle for the last 45 minutes. I call it a huddle. We've passed out information. We've given each other plays. Go out, practice those plays. And if you have a question about some of those plays, write them down. And when you come back to the huddle, share them and try to get the best outcome as you can. Because it's going to take constant communication, but also understand this. If somebody ain't where you feel, and don't go off feelings, where you believe they should be, expect that. They've been eating garbage all day life. You come in with filet mignon, they don't know what that is. It doesn't taste right. Garbage tastes better. I'm used to it. So just allow yourself to be patient, give them a little time, and continue to give them the same message, but also walk that walk. And if you can't do it, connect them with someone righteous who can show them how to walk that walk. Because they might see you might say one thing, but then they might see you over, rolling up the blunt, turning up the alcohol right after you just talked to them. So, go back to keeping all the kids separate. Everybody separates. Don't party in front of your children. And women, we just want y'all to come on back to y'all natural state. Because if y'all do, I guarantee the marriage rate to go up. Try it for 90 days and see if 3 people don't ask you to marry them. But if that's not you, then continue to roll the dice because y'all see what's out here. These sexually transmitted diseases are rising because they pushing this A, B, C, D, E, F, G culture. And if your kid get caught up in it, it's going to spread like wildfire in your family. So be careful. Hey, I don't know whose podcast this is. I appreciate it. I just happened to run up on it today. I hope I get a chance to, to come out and just share some love with y'all. I love Black people to the death of me. I'm gonna keep on fighting for us, the young and I give old food a little time, but them young ones, I'm gonna stay with it because it's helped me get to a place in life where I don't even have to work no more. I don't do nothing.
Mhm.
I find stuff to do. And you know, I just turned 55. I've been married 10 years, and my life ain't been better. Ain't been better. I got one. I found my muse, and it takes time. It takes work. So just be willing to put in the work. And when you're ready for it, watch how your blessings come. But if you don't be mad if the results don't turn your way. I thank y'all, man. I
Absolutely.
appreciate you.
Thank you, Trey, for coming. Thank you, Moody Wild, for coming. Thank you, Miss Fields, for coming.
Yeah. Be sure to
Um,
like and subscribe, and so you can come up when we come back around every Wednesday.
This has been
And
a
you on-
more contentious media. I'm sorry, more contentious conversation with the average black man.
Hold on, you trying to say something?
No, I'm just
What?
asking about the same time, about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. What time?
Yeah,
7-ish.
yeah.
Okay.
If I don't know where you are, you in the East? Are
Yeah,
you on the East Coast?
Keisha be
Coast.
sleep.
Yeah,
so
More
Eastern
be sleep sometimes.
Seven-ish. Yeah,
Yeah.
seven-ish.
7-ish.
Wednesday. Yeah, I need a good hump day message out there. So I'm with y'all, man. If y'all need me, look, just call me, man. I'm gonna show up. So
Great
All right.
conversation, guys.
So thank you for tuning in to another episode of the average. No, so you got me wrong now.
Yeah. Look at you. You about to do it too.
Yeah, more contentious conversations with the average black man, which is a combination of Miss Morphine's More Contentious Media and myself, the Average Black Man Show. So please like and subscribe, and everybody, thank you so much. And until the next time.
Are we off the air?